Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Yogis in those days are very different to what we see, what you call a yogi now. And also nowadays yoga is like, yoga has been divorced from the meaning of the word. The meaning of the word means union with God, isn't it? But now it's become a physical exercise thing. So people are doing yoga in gyms. Like after their workout, they'll do half an hour yoga, and it's purely about stretching, and and then there might be even 2 minutes of meditation or something. The rest of it is about stretching and becoming more supple and flexible. So it's not become yoga anymore. I don't know what you call it, but according to the meaning of the word yoga, it's not yoga, because yoga was always a means to an end. And I'll tell you an example. I was on the plane. I went to Russia recently. So on the plane, the lady sitting next to me was doing Ashtanga yoga. It's quite a hard yoga from what I understand. And she was an expert in it, and she was teaching it in Russia as well. She was Russian background, but living here in London. So anyway, she's Ashtanga yoga expert sitting next to me on the plane. We were chatting about religion. She wasn't pro-religion. Let's just face it that way. Let's put it simplified. She was sort of not negative. I talked about the Sikh beliefs. She goes, I agree with everything you're saying. It makes perfect sense. It's just that I don't like religion. I said, okay, fair enough. It's your choice. But then she said something quite interesting. I said to her, the first time I experienced the divine was just by chanting God's name. And at that time, I'd basically just recently stopped drinking. Just recently stopped doing a lot of negative things. And she was surprised, I literally just sat down with some people, they had a guitar, and they started singing Vaheguru. And the first time in my life I ever did it, and I just had an amazing experience, and I was like, what was that? She was surprised. She said, it took me years of Ashtanga yoga to get to that level, to have that experience. So in that way, you could say that the Guru gives us a fast forward button. God's name.
That's why Kundalini yoga is so powerful.
Because it takes, exactly.
They do exercises while reciting Bani.
Yeah. That's why it's so powerful. So if it was just the exercises, you wouldn't get that experience from it whatsoever. Yeah. So I think that's where Kundalini yoga is being successful in changing so many people's lives, because it gives people that Gurbani aspect and the chanting. But obviously, you don't have to go through Kundalini yoga to get the same bliss you can get from Gurbani and Naam. But it's not a bad thing either to do it, the stretching and everything else. Just as long as you understand, one bit's for the physical body, one bit's for the soul, right? And they can work in tandem, but you could just as much be a long distance runner or a swimmer and get fit, or you could become good at stretching, and then you could do all that. But if you're not experiencing that bliss of meditation, then you're missing out on the main part of life. That's the key thing. It's a stress to people that without that bliss, you haven't made it. You're nobody. When I say nobody, it means you actually miss the main purpose of your life, and you'll have to come back. This is the thing that sometimes within the yoga world, the world today of yoga, it's not stressed. So you could become an expert yogi, right? But you might have zero spirituality. You might still be full of anger and pride and greed. But you just physically are able to do all these poses and hold them for so long, etc. But that's not really, that's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to start to have that communion, that divine experience. And you could basically, you could be the most inflexible person, and it still wouldn't matter if you could get that experience. Or you could be the most flexible person, and it again wouldn't matter because you didn't have that experience. Or you could be the best yogi and have that experience, and that's perfect. If you're a yogi that experiences your consciousness merging with the Creator, then you're the right kind of yogi for the Guru. If you're just somebody who's physically very fit or whatever, and you've got that pride, you can hold a pose for that long, other people can't, that's nothing for the Guru. So the Guru's way is very much about that union. And the word comes up there's a Shabad, Maharaj says, Yog banaya tera kirtan gaye. Yeah? What that means is, you will get that yog by singing kirtan. It's hard to believe that sometimes, that when you're sitting there just singing some hymns, you can experience the most powerful thing there is. Yeah? It seems so simple, isn't it, just sitting around singing? Yeah? But kirtan is so powerful. It's changed lives, changed my life. And this is what the Guru brings to us, is this really simple way of experiencing God. But obviously, they also give it the sublime form of Rag Kirtan, which is quite hard to learn and become an expert in. So there's always, things to learn within the Sikh faith that involve a lot of practice, a lot of hard work. Meditation aside, that's quite hard anyway. But actually, understand the scripture, the music, whether it's the drums, whether it's the classical instruments, it's just skills you can learn from a young age that keep you involved, and it's infinite in that sense. So kids can always, it's not like it stops, you can keep on learning. You can become an expert in one thing, you still got loads more to learn. So it keeps you intellectually engaged as well. Keeping something, if there was a philosophy that didn't have an intellectual element, then people would get bored and stop at some point. Did that help? So we agree on that. We agree basically. Yeah. But you see, remember, just to reiterate, I don't want to leave because I'll finish off in a minute. Just to reiterate, the connection of our consciousness with the universal consciousness, the biggest barrier is our ego. And by ego, I don't mean our pride. It's deeper. It's the sense of I, me, of being separate, of being yourself. So giving up that sense of being, giving up that sense of valuing your own opinion, the giving up that sense of I-ness, that's the hardest thing we can do. Give up ourselves. Yeah. And the Guru, we're able to give up ourselves to the Guru. The more you read about them, the more you learn about them, the more you fall in love, and the more you're like, wow, Vaheguru, yeah. It's like Vaheguru, and then you just think, I can surrender to this person. This person is perfect. There's nothing to hold me back. So the Guru reflects that. He allows us to do that.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.